I got it. Back it up. There, go it. Oh my God, Rangan's gonna be so mad. This is off his car. He come in way too hot. Yeah, his lights bent and everything.
What are you?
Ranga! What the fuck is that?
Yeah, no, go give enough spent and then pop up.
Nah, look, I reckon we can shape it. Yeah, but it's alright. Nah, it's not a piece of shit.
What, he's got a full channel?
Alright, go. Hold on, let me take it out again.
Wait. Go.
Yep. What the fuck? You don't have to be so extreme. No, you don't.
Now we got an accident.
What? You get all up in the drive, did you? Yeah, but you fuck.
So here's a bit of a trap for young players. That's the AU arm, and that's the EF arm. And the EF arm is the odd one out in the Falcons, like EA to AU, because it had the single bolt location. So that means if you use an AU arm or an EL arm, or an EB arm, I guess if you're retarded, the diff pinion angle would be incorrect. So it'd pull the diff right down so the pinion's facing the road, which would, cause all sorts of issues for traction and also noise and vibration. So we all know someone who's probably done that before. Hey Ben.
Yeah.
Whatever. Ben's taking the control arms off this one, and then we're going to do what we did to this one. So once we get the control arms out off this one, which we have, and the brakes are ready to pull apart, we'll pull the center out of that one, and then we'll lay all the parts out, and we'll show you what not to do. Ben's got the axles out of that one, so they just slide out of there. Obviously, you're not going to be able to remove the center without removing the axles. I mean, that sounds like common sense, but I've been asked before why somebody's diff won't come apart. It's important to have both the diffs apart and keep them side by side and to get separated from each other, but side by side, so we can make sure every part's the same. So because what we're trying to avoid here is going to a diff shop and having something set or having it lapped, because that's obviously not us, because we're ghetto and poor. So this way is going to be those diff gears into that housing, hopefully with no noise, no excessive wear, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we'll get to that in a sec.
Pulling these caps out, very important to keep them on the side that they came out on. If you try and put this on this side, it'll never work.
We'll take that out and we'll punch the pinion through, I think. Right, so the same as the shims, have to stay on the side that they came from. I mean, you could probably put a diff together without doing this, but this sort of ensures that you're not going to have any stupid wear. This one's not so important because we're not going to use any of this diff, but this is the procedure anyway. What will be more important is to keep everything in that diff housing together so that we can put it into this diff housing.
how it's done.
Alright, so sometimes there might be some different stuff going on here between the diffs, so this is something else you want to keep as well with the diff. I doubt Ben's brought a seal, so we'll just have to try and get that out.
It did not cross my mind, because then that's all I've got. So, look, maybe the seal in that would be nice.
We might be able to maybe punch it forward and get it out. So we should see the pinion in here. Oh, lift this back up. There we go, there he is. Right, so that's back on there. Okay. So again, once we get the other one out, we'll put them side by side and compare and make sure. So that's the shim for the front. So that sets the depth of how far the pinion's going to go onto the crown wheel. So you'll see them, they're all different sizes. Some of them, theoretically, if they're the same series of diff, that shim should be pretty similar. But you will notice that in some of them it's big, or they'll have another shim on there. Depends on how it's been set up, especially if it's a different set of diff gears. So always pays to check, like we did before on the crown wheel, to make sure the diff gears are actually what's on the housing, because a lot of times they do get changed second-hand gears. You know, there's a lot of there's not a huge difference between 308s and 325s, I guess, if you're doing or 327, sorry, if you're doing so yeah, that's that. We'll move on to the next part. So we're going to punch everything out. We're even going to take this out, the race for the bearing, and we should be able to save Ben's seal if we're careful and punch that bearing out with a big socket. Okay, so we've knocked the front bearing race or carrier out, and that is a little shim that was behind the bearing. So I'm not sure, you know, there might be different sizes, whatever, but that doesn't really matter, because we're, like we said, we're going to keep everything together. You can see those two little notches in the side of the housing. That's where you put the punch through to get back to the bearing. So through there, you'll be on the housing, and you'll be able to knock it out. It's good to see you got the diff hands. Got to have diff hands. Alright, so we've got the bearing out of the front, which is there, the smaller one. It sits behind sits in front of the pinion, carries in front of the pinion. And then this is the reverse of the other one. So there is a little notch in the side, just there where my finger is. And you can come from the back, so opposite to the other bearing, and punch that carrier or race out, just like we did on the other side. So you punch that out, and then you'll have that bearing cup, race, carrier, whatever you want to call it. That'll be out as well.
Is empty. We've pulled everything out of it, all the important parts, and they are over here, and they've all been kept together. You've got to try very hard not to mix it up with the other diff, because then you just always have a terrible time if you put the wrong parts together.
Alright, so we're going to take the diff off the stands, put this diff up, and repeat the process, and you know, that'll be boring, so we'll get back to you.
Nut is on finger tight. What's next? We got
So the pinion's in.
yeah.
We put the nut on there finger tight, because obviously trying to do it up isn't going to do much without something holding onto it. So
Yeah.
and that's why Ben's done that. So now we're to the part where we're going to put the pinion back in. Sorry, the crown wheel back in. And we're going to keep those shims on either side, because, as I said before, theoretically that spacing is the same in all these diff housings that are the same series. And we have them this, like I said, they're pretty ghetto. They're a bit dirty, but it's not important. The diff gears have some pretty good wear on them, but because we're not resetting them or anything like that, we're trying to get away with just putting them to a different housing. Should be good. You see it, it's been, it's worn nice and even, but it's definitely worn. So these have got how many Ks on them, Ben?
480,000. So 471 from old mate I got it off, and then 10,000 from me, which is not like he drove it.
No.
So realistically, I've added another 50,000.
Or maybe 100,000.
The way they'll do it.
Maybe 100,000.
Yeah, that'll do. Let's fit this bad boy, huh?